Welcome to the Art of Happiness. My name is Tam, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Erin Tam.
Hey!
And today we are going to talk about an article that we found called Tips on Stepping Back from Screens and Starting a New Hobby by Jamie Ducharme, which obviously we're always looking for hobby articles,
right.
so it's this perfect one for us. So obviously it's about getting away from looking at your phone.
Yeah.
Question for you, Erin. How many times in your day do you think you doom scroll?
Oh gosh, too many. Actually doom scrolling probably twice a day.
Oh, really? And what are those times? What are they around?
I would say it's usually at the end of the day, unfortunately, right before bed, which is like the worst time. And then probably maybe not always, but lunchtime.
Lunchtime?
Yeah.
How much is that before your 10-minute hobby that you do, or after your 10-minute hobby that you do?
Probably after.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so I have.
How about you?
I think I have 2.
Okay.
Originally just 1.
Yeah.
I adopted a second one.
Okay.
And I'm very disappointed in myself.
I know. Yeah, you're supposed to go in the other way.
I know. So I also have one at the end of the day after the kids go to bed. I'm assuming that's when yours, right?
Yeah.
The kids go to bed.
Yeah.
Because your brain is just like, what just happened to us?
Yeah.
I just needed them to brush their teeth.
Yes.
And go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Why did that take 45 minutes?
Yes.
So I've got that one, and then my new one that I just picked up is now. I am now a part of child pickup. And I wasn't before.
Okay.
And so now I get there, and I still haven't figured out the timing of like what gets me there efficiently. So I've got a lot of downtime, and
Just
I
sitting,
started
waiting.
doom scrolling.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 now.
So you got to figure out something else to replace.
I do.
But no, I mean, it brings up a good point of like, well, I think we were having a discussion. I think it's important to talk about like, what do you think that doom scrolling can be a hobby in itself, or not even doom scrolling, but so being on social media.
Being on social media.
Yeah.
So, you and I both kind of mentioned earlier how you were kind of feeling towards no, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of feeling like, I think it could be. And here's my reasoning why. So, yes, doom scrolling, in my mind, there's 2 different types of scrolling. And I guess I don't know if I like the word doom anymore, because I think I do think doom scrolling exists. And in my mind, the definition of doom scrolling is you're just mindlessly scrolling through things that could potentially be very negative, that just bring you down and make you feel worse. That's what I think my new definition of doom scrolling is.
I agree.
I think there is some other versions of scrolling that exist out there. One of them for me, and I think is probably the reason why you and I both have one that happens at the same time, is at the end of the day, I just need my brain to just shut off for just a second. Like, well, maybe not just a second, maybe it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, I just need to like not think, not process, just let my brain just go into like a almost kind of like a meditative state. And my phone is a part of that piece. And I don't think I am absorbing anything in that point in time. It's just me just kind of doing a repetitive motion that puts me in like a meditative state. But then to speak to the hobby side of it, I do think that exploring, if we're speaking specifically towards like on your phone, social media type stuff, I think exploring other, we'll say, influencers in your hobby arena and getting ideas or learning a new skill in that arena, I think that falls into like hobby time. Like, it's like research, right? It's like if I, prior to phones, if I wanted to learn how to do something, I had to go find an encyclopedia, right? And I had to research it, right? Well, I feel like that's the same thing. It's just...
Do you, those are 2 different buckets. So after you have been scrolling, do you in general feel better or worse when you get off your phone?
So when it comes to the hobby piece of it, I think I feel like excited. Yeah. Like I'm like for instance, I talked about how one of my sisters sent me an Instagram video of a person kind of repurposing a sewing caddy kit and turning it into like a little portable like hobby station for them. So after seeing that, I was like, ooh, I really want to go and try to find something like that, and then like try to like fix it up and really make this like this whole thing. So I was excited and very joyful. So I feel like that sparked joy, which is the very definition that we always say that hobbies should do. So I was very excited about that. So I would say I feel really good.
What about the other time?
So in the time where it's like I'm just kind of turning my brain off, I don't know that I feel positive, but I don't know that I would say I feel negative. I think the only time I feel negative after that is if I come out of the meditative state and it's been an hour and a half.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's when I'm like, what have I been doing this whole time?
Well, I think that's like the thing, right? It's such a time suck. And the article talked a lot about how are we wasting too much time on our phones? And when we could be doing more intentional hobby time or intentional living that is going to help us grow as people and get us in a more meditative flow state that is just more positive in general. And that's not so passive. And so I think a lot of the article talked about balance, which is kind of what you're talking about, is that it sounds like you have actually found a really great balance for yourself and set some boundaries where you have your time where you're doing your hobby research and it's positive versus your time where it's more passive and just trying to shut off your brain. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think, as long as you can control that. I know I've gotten into states where it's like, and I don't know, the algorithm starts to figure you out, and you click on one thing negative and you start to get a whole bunch of stuff, especially like in the current climate of the world. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of negative things that add to stress. And I've been really feeling that lately of like, I need to get off this because it's almost affecting my mental health.
Absolutely.
And so I think that for me, I really want to intentionally find things, and I think you're find things I can easily grab instead of grabbing my phone. And I think that the article did talk a lot about that, like making it really easy to pick up a hobby activity versus picking up your phone was one really thing that like resonated with me.
And I agree with you. It's a great point, and I think that speaks to the hobby caddy that I ended up finding from my research. Is why is it so easy to go and play with your phone? Because it's literally probably in your hand.
So it's so easy. They made it so easy for us, right?
It's so easy. I probably carry my phone like a baby more than I carry my own babies.
It's terrible, right?
It is. And it's, well, maybe we should just replace it with a marker. And just walk around with a marker. Maybe now it's solved it. But no, you've got a great point. Like the article talks about that it really is it's just too easy. And so it makes sense that like then we need to make something else easier than the phone. And so having so like you mentioned in a recent episode that we did, I talked about how I took a based off of an influencer that I found, I took a sewing caddy and turned it into kind of like a travel hobby case. And I have it sitting right next to my couch. So whenever I do like my little like mindless meditative kind of scroll, I set like a little timer for like 20 minutes to just give myself like a then bedtime was crazy, turn it off, and then get into my little like caddy of like coloring books, markers. Even my iPad is in there so that I could work on some of our podcasting stuff. I've got a Polly Pocket in there. It's readily available.
It's awesome. Such a great tip. Great idea.
However, now, okay, so we figured out how to solve for my bedtime one, but what do I do for my car pickup?
I think that maybe picking up some sort of hobby can, I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe like knitting or crocheting or something.
Well, it seems like the solution is to make sure that I've got something hobby related in the car.
And I think something that you do with your hands, right? Like something like something that gives you that same feeling.
Something that would be quick to pick up and put down. Because I mean, like I said, I haven't figured out the timing of it, right? So sometimes I might have, like 5 minutes. Sometimes I might have like 15 minutes in between trying to figure out.
And I think too, over time, you like that's all you need is 5 or 10 minutes, really, like to do a hobby if you kind of prepare yourself for that, so that you can you start a new hobby, you can just like have it with you and just do a little bit. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Like I have to do this whole thing in this time. Like starting small is going to be a lot easier than trying to carve out a whole hour or to drop your phone completely, right? Because you're gonna go through withdrawal.
Well, absolutely. And it's funny because she talks about in the article about how probably in addition to it just being easier to pick up your phone as opposed to having a hobby, she talks about how, and I know I felt this, how those who maybe don't have a hobby and are looking to kind of break the screen time to jump into a hobby, you feel this immediate pressure to find the perfect hobby, like the most ideal hobby for me right now. And that in itself feels like
that's so true,
huge and heavy and like a giant task to take on. And it's impossible. And, you know, she even kind of suggests in some of her research that a perfect hobby doesn't exactly exist, that it's like, it's more a collection of hobbies that can kind of meet your needs at that given moment.
Definitely. And I know we found that to be true.
Absolutely. I mean, that I enjoy hobby dabbling. Like that's kind of been something I've embraced in this podcast, because I feel that I don't think I'm the same. I don't wake up in the same mood every day. You know, and
you're not a robot, Tam?
I'm not a robot. I feel like, and you know, sometimes I'm more playful Tam one day, or sometimes I'm more, you know, moody Tam, you know, and so whenever I do have that little bit of time, because like you said, and how she references in the article, is it's just take little bits of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just use that time. Don't look for an all-encompassing project that you have to get down in all in one sitting, because that could really overwhelm you. It could overwhelm your time, and sometimes it's just not reasonable, right? But if you have a hobby that you can just kind of jump in to, like, some days I feel a little more creative and I want something colorful. Some days I feel like I want something that's a little bit more stimulating to, like, my body, like, and like as far as like or even my mental state, like maybe I want to be around people as opposed to kind of being like tucked away in a basement recording for a podcast.
Absolutely. I think it's just important to explore like lots of different options. Maybe be just a little bit more impulsive. Don't think about it. Don't overanalyze it, right? If something speaks to you, try it. You know, there's so many ways to start something inexpensively, low barrier to entry. Like, I mean, gosh, you can go walk through like Michael's and just pick up something.
I just sat here and thought, for anybody who is listening to Tam's antiquing and thrifting episode, I'm just now realizing I could be thrifting
hobby supplies.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. That's
what I could be going for. Okay.
It's a good idea.
Well, that would have been great to add to that episode.
Right. What's in this one?
That's all right. It's in here. It counts. But I mean, I think it's important to just like, when you're trying to figure out like, how do I break away from the screen time? It's, first of all, don't look at it as I've got 5 hours. Now what do I do with my time? Because like I said, typically mine's at the end of the day when the kids go to bed, right? You know, don't look at it as like, I've got, you know, 3 hours before I'm going to fall asleep. I need to do a project right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. Just think of, I think she, and Jamie in the article was like, just ask yourself, like, what do I need in my life right now? What would make me feel like a little bit more joy right now? And just do that for a couple of minutes. And, you know, you might find that you go into waking up an hour and a half later and you're still doing that, you know, project, that hobby. And that's wonderful. Because we could argue that that's a way more productive, you know, use of your time than sitting on your phone for an hour and a half if you're not researching.
No, it's so true, because I think when you get like, we obviously love hobbies and we see the benefit of them, and if you're not into a lot of hobbies yet, like if you get into them, you'll start to realize that they get you in just like a different, more positive mental state. You start to discover things about yourself that you didn't realize before. It can take you down a path that you never expected, right? Like one little hobby can open up your world. Like we keep referencing your thrifting thing, but like you experienced thrifting, but then you also started a project on some furniture, and then that led to, you know, other, like you found Polly Pockets. Like you just don't know where it might lead, and just really letting yourself, I don't know, it kind of opens up your imagination and creativity, you know, whereas on your phone, it's so passive, and you're kind of letting other people be creative and put their ideas in your brain versus just letting yourself do your own thinking.
It's true. And, you know, we give ourselves a lot of hard time about the screen time, but, you know, we also find that even our kids are wanting screen time, right? And, you know, there's arguments for both sides, you know, where the positivity is, but, you know, I always laugh because what's that saying? It's like, do as I say, not as I do, right?
Yes.
Right? So here we are, like telling our kids not to just mindlessly scroll on like their tablets, but yet we're guilty of the same things,
it's another reason to not.
Right? So there's also like this modeling factor. Like if you show your kids that like you're not sitting there on your iPad and you're just kind of doing a hobby and being creative, I'm willing to put money on it, because I personally have seen in my own life that my kids look up, see me doing some sort of creative hobby and they want to come join me.
It's so true. And anytime I bring out something at home that is like a hands-on thing that they can easily jump in and they want to take part in it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I feel like I could sit there all day long and be like, girls, get off your tablets. And they'll just be like, 5 more minutes, right? But if I just start hobbying right next to them, they look up and then they just put it down and come over and join me. And so it's like, I don't even have to have the fight. Yeah. I just do.
Lead by example.
Exactly. Yeah. So, if you have, children around you, grandchildren around you, consider that like as an option of kind of giving you the oomph to fight that screen time. Is it's not even just for you, it's something that you're teaching your children and your grandchildren to kind of follow along with you on that.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good way to look at it too.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd add that. Yeah. But anyway, so in the article she talks about some like really realistic tips that can kind of help you fight the screen time, in addition to what we've already kind of talked about. But she said look for phone replacement moments, which is exactly why I kind of started in this, asking you like, when are your moments that you doom scroll? I think identify those first, and then think about like, what is a hobby tool that I can keep visibly accessible to me during that time that I'm in those areas? So like, I know my couch is where I'm going to be sitting for my doom scrolling at night. So I need to make sure I've got some sort of hobby supply right there. I now know my car is the next one. I've got to figure out a hobby supply to help me combat that car. So stay tuned.
How about audiobooks? Would that be enough to do for you?
That's good.
Just an idea.
Maybe
anyway,
that.
Side note.
So simple. Is it that simple, Erin?
Or podcast.
Or podcasting. That's a better one. Good plug. And well, maybe you just,
listen
tell
to the
a
Art of
friend about the Art of
podcast.
Hobbiness. So you can share it together and start a
That's
podcasting club. The Teo Club. Oh, I don't know. I'm just spitballing some names there for you guys. But also she said to maybe even make sure that you try not to beat yourself up for the screen times. Like, screen time can have some benefits in small doses, from my opinion. Like I said, I kind of feel like there is some So don't be so hard on yourself about it. There can be good aspects. There can be everything can be okay in moderation, right? That's the big thing. So don't beat yourself up for having that in there. Just start looking for the opportunities to continue to find ways to bring positive energy into your life and see if that screen time is the cause of some angst, or if it really is like where you can kind of recater it to be more positive in the creative arena.
That's great. I love that. Well said, Tam.
Hey, thanks. It's just me quoting an article.
Well, I had some good ideas too. Hopefully this helps our listeners just kind of rethink how screen time and hobby time could be could exchange some time for hobby time to just add some joy to your life. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed this topic.
Yes.
And we follow us for catch us next time.
We'll talk to you soon.
See ya. Bye.